Audio Jungle.
Hey guys, I'm Buki Likvide, and you're watching #LastWeek, the show that takes all the top trending stories from social media and brings it to you in one spot. What was trending last week? Russia's new missiles, chaos at the White House, and comedian Monique. Up first, what do you say when you haven't heard any threats from Kim Jong-un? Here comes Uncle Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin, in an annual address to the Russian parliament last Thursday, claimed of newly developed Russian weaponry he claims will render NATO defenses completely useless, essentially warning the rest of the world that Russia is not to be overlooked. Russia still has the greatest nuclear potential in the world, but nobody listened to us, he said. Listen now. President Putin gave details about the new nuclear-capable cruise missile with unlimited range that would be capable of eluding air defenses. He also detailed the development of an invincible missile that can deliver a warhead at hypersonic speed. Since the range is unlimited, it can maneuver as much as necessary, Putin said. Another military development was a weapon capable of flying like a meteorite at several times the speed of sound. A video simulation of the missile was shown during the address, and the missile appeared to hit a piece of land resembling the state of Florida, a nod to President Trump's famed Mar-a-Lago estate, which the president frequents regularly. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told reporters that Putin's remarks confirmed what the United States has known all along. Russia has been developing destabilizing weapons systems over a decade in direct violation of treaty obligations. Sanders added President Trump understands the threats facing America and our allies and is determined to protect our homeland and preserve peace throughout our country. U.S. defenses are and will remain second to none. And what do you say after a Game of Thrones marathon? Where are all my allies? It was a chaotic week for the White House, with President Trump growing more and more isolated from his most trusted advisors. Last week saw the resignation of Communications Director Hope Hicks. Her resignation came after an 8-hour testimony before the House Intelligence Committee, where she told the group she had occasionally been required to tell white lies, quote, white lies, but had never lied about anything connected to the investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. Hicks' decision to resign as communications director was clearly a blow to Trump. Even though she had no political experience when she joined the Trump campaign in 2016, she was a trusted loyalist who had been with him from the beginning. Sources claim that aside from immediate family, Trump trusted no one more and listened to no one more than Hicks. Last week, news broke that Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner's security clearance had been downgraded by Chief of Staff John Kelly, amid ongoing questions about Kushner's ability to secure a permanent clearance due to complexities with his family business and finances. It's not known whether Kushner will be out soon at the White House and whether his wife Ivanka, Trump's daughter, would stay if he had to leave. This all comes on the heels of President Trump announcing that his administration would impose a 25% tariff on imported steel and a 10% tariff on imported aluminum, on the grounds that the other country's trade practices endanger American national security and undermine domestic production. The announcement also sent the stock market trembling, with the Dow taking a 500-point dip in the first hour after the announcement. His plan, which technically has yet to be written, but is soon to be planned and signed this week, also drew the stiff backlash from U.S. manufacturers of products made using steel and aluminum, who maintained that the tariffs would lead to loss of jobs in their operations and increase consumer prices. Republican lawmakers also urged Trump to reassess his position, cautioning him that while the move would boost U.S. steel and aluminum manufacturers, it would lead to increased costs for consumers of those materials and hurt some of the manufacturers he pledged to protect. And what do you say when your friend's acting like a fool at the club for the 10th time? Maybe it's time for an intervention. Comedian Monique is putting her dukes up once again, this time in defense of her husband, Sidney Hicks.
Hey, my loves. I am asking that you stand with me and boycott Netflix for gender bias and color bias. I was offered a $500,000 deal last week to do a comedy special. However, Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million. Then Amy Schumer went back and renegotiated $2 more million because she said I shouldn't get what the men are getting, they're legends, however I should get more, and Netflix agreed. When we asked Netflix to explain the difference, why the money was so different, they said, well, we believe that's what Monique will bring. We said, well, what about my resume? They said, we don't go off of resumes. Then we asked them, what was it about Amy Schumer? And they said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a big movie over the summer. Is that not Amy Schumer's resume? And then Netflix said, by the way, we believe Monique is a legend too. Why shouldn't I get what the legends are getting? Please stand with me in this boycott of Netflix. I love us for real.
As we all know, Monique has been in the spotlight lately for calling out some very famous names. The drama started when she called out Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels for blackballing her from Hollywood after her Oscar win from the movie Precious. Lee Daniels claims he did no such thing, but warned the Oscar winner that her alleged diva behavior would end up blackballing her eventually. But wait, that's not all. Then she calls out Oprah Winfrey solely and claims that she pulled the wool over her eyes when she invited her uncle, who allegedly molested Monique when she was young, on her show, The Oprah Winfrey Show, with her father and mother, to which she had no idea. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Later, Monique called for everyone to ban Netflix for wage and gender disparities, claiming she was offered $500,000 to produce a comedy special, when Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, and Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle were offered in the realm of $20 million. And we're not done yet. Later, she released an entire email thread between producer Will Packer and her manager and husband, Sidney Hicks, after an email surfaced painting Monique in not-so-friendly lights. Later, she released an entire email thread between producer Will Packer and her manager and husband, Sidney Hicks, after an email surfaced painting Monique in a not-so-friendly light on the set of Almost Christmas back in 2016. In the emails, Hicks accused Packer of trying to intimidate his wife, staring her down and violating her personal space, along with promising her a 3-picture deal and a sitcom for taking a lower rate for the movie, all of which has not been fulfilled. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, it's getting good. After an appearance on The View, where Whoopi Goldberg tried to school Monique on the nature of the game, Monique took to her live show to express support for her husband, Sidney, who Whoopi claimed to be the problem in the closed-door meeting they had after filming the show. Monique retold the story last week, stating Whoopi told her she had to take some responsibility and that she was being ill-advised and the real problem was her husband. To which she replied, quote, I had the big white agents, I had the big white managers, and the big attorney, and I watched them cheat me. And they'll say to me, well, get them next time, Monique. The reason why my husband is considered to be a problem is because when we are in those meetings with executives, they can't answer his questions. Amidst allegations of diva behavior and with Hollywood taking note of the drama surrounding the Oscar winner, what's next for Monique is up in the air. All right, trenders, wowee, what a week. I don't know about you, but is it just me or are we living in our own episode of Game of Thrones where President Trump is totally Cersei Lannister? We've got enemies to the east, enemies to the west, enemies to the north, and enemies to the south. And Donald Trump is totally Cersei Lannister in this reenactment. We've got crazy monarchs that are threatening to destroy all of us. We've got fighting from within. We've got backstabbers, moles. It's kind of great if this was a scripted show, but this is real life. Get it together, people. This is not rocket science. It's just politics. Let's put the country first and put the egos down. And Monique, Monique. The only person that's blackballing you is you. I beg you, shut up. Stop talking. This is not good for anyone. We know there are crazy producers. We know there are crazy, egotistical maniacs. We know there's wage disparity. We know there's gender disparities. Hello, hashtag me too, for crying out loud. But here's the thing, and this is why I agree with Whoopi. Your husband, who is your manager, and in the business sense, that's what matters the most, should have stopped you for first calling out Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels, then for going on all these shows like Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club and, you know, your live show. You gotta stop talking. Because guess what? No one likes a talker. Loose lips sink ships, and you're digging your own grave, lady. I love you. I think you're great. You make me laugh all the time, but you're doing it to yourself. I'm so sorry to tell you. Let us know in the comments what you think about Monique and what's going on with this whole situation. All right, guys, that's it for me. You've watched Hashtag Last Week. I'm your host, Buki Olakbade. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to all our channels, and we will trend with you next week.